Hi, I'm Jason French, and this is Kelly Cox. We're the hosts for a new series called Curation. In this series, we take artists from two different worlds, in this case, culinary arts and musical arts, and bring them together in one amazing moment.
And what a better place to experience that than at Pickathon Music Festival.
For the first episode, we're gonna work with Chef Maya Lovelace of May and the amazing sounds of Bamba.
So we're at Portland's Cully neighborhood because we're gonna go see what Chef Maya's got up her sleeve. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Have you been here before?
Not to eat, no.
You're in for a treat.
Hello.
Hey, Maya.
Hey, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Good. My name is Maya Lovelace, and this is my pop-up, May.
Well, I work all night, I work all day. I said I work all night, I work all day, 'cause ain't nobody gonna pave my way.
How long have you been cooking out of here?
About two and a half years.
But you're known for some very specific things.
That's true. We're known specifically for Southern Appalachian cuisine, which is basically the food of Western North Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia, kind of that little pocket of the world, parts of Northern Georgia. So we do a lot of kind of mountain cuisine, a lot of like using country ham, using whatever seasonal vegetables we have around, a lot of cornmeal, cornbread, cornmeal dumplings, that kind of stuff. I think of our food as being Southern food that's sort of viewed almost through the lens of Portland. Like we use a lot of Portland produce, we work with a lot of farmers here, but it is still very much kind of good old Southern food. Well, I always really loved cooking ever since I was a little kid. You know, I grew up learning how to cook from my grandmother, also from my parents. I don't think I decided I wanted to do it professionally until I was probably 16 or 17 years old. I had just started going to college at a little college in Atlanta, Georgia, and was double majoring in, I think, French and psychology with like a minor in philosophy. And I decided that maybe instead of all of that, what I actually wanted to do was cook. So I wanted to kind of learn how to cook another cuisine. Sean Brock was a hero of mine. He was a hero of pretty much every cook in Charleston, I think. So when I saw that he was opening a new restaurant, I got really, really excited and kind of threw myself into the pool pretty much immediately and was just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping for a call back so I could have an interview. Before I worked at Husk, I didn't really have much of a connection to the food that I grew up eating or the food that my parents grew up eating. I feel like while I worked at Husk, I learned that Southern food was something that was special and that deserved attention and that deserved love instead of being something that's sort of relegated to being in a steam table in a diner. I moved to Portland, like I mentioned, from Charleston, and about 6 months after I moved here, my grandmother passed away. I was just a cook. I didn't have a ton of money, and I had just spent all of my money on driving out here. So I didn't have enough money to be able to go home for her funeral. It was kind of a really big thing for me to miss, and I always felt like I kind of owed her a debt. So honestly, opening May, or at least starting, you know, to do these dinners that were a tribute to my grandmother, very much felt like a form of exactly that, a tribute or even a penance, just to sort of, you know, do something nice for her.
Can you talk a little bit about just the ingredients, local ingredients that you found here that maybe kind of either play into that or that you've had farmers grow? Or
we've been lucky enough to work with some really cool farmers here in Portland, especially my friend Dan Sullivan over at Black Locust Farm, who has been trialing lots of different vegetables and things from the South that he's trying to grow for us. He's working on greasy beans for us, which is a funny name, but they're these big fat green beans that you can actually tie and dry. And they sort of partially ferment. You cook them into a dish called leather britches, which is very, very countrified name. He's working on growing butter beans for us as well, which you cannot find up here, which drives me absolutely insane. Testing some different heirloom okras for us, different heirloom watermelons and things like that.
So where are you from originally?
I am from Eastern North Carolina originally. I'm from a little tiny town that is called Beaufort. It's like 3,000 people. It's a tiny little fishing village on the coast of North Carolina.
Soft shell blue crab must have been in rotation in your life.
Yeah. Soft shell burgers is what people eat where I'm from, which just means it's on a burger bun.
Yeah.
The fried soft shell on a burger bun. It's like the most perfect food in the world.
Who were you cooking with? Like, did people cook in your house, or who'd you learn from?
My dad is from Western North Carolina. His mom was May, who our whole thing here is named after. So we would go up to visit my grandmother, and I would, cook at her knee, really traditional Southern backstory. But on a step stool, learning how to make biscuits and helping her make, cast iron fried summer squash and
Will you
fried
do a
chicken
biscuit making class? Because
probably.
I have struggled, and I've got the recipe from Garden and Gun from Charleston too, and I still struggle.
Wow, it's a feel. It's all feel. Southern food is feel.
It's not a recipe, it's a feel.
Yeah.
It's a.
What are you looking for when you feel it?
You have to, it has to be the right temperature. To me, Southern food and like the food of grandmothers in general is just kind of all about feel. It's more about feel than measurements.
Zen.
Yeah.
Biscuit making.
Biscuit making, indeed.
Well,
Totally.
we're thrilled to have you being a part of the Pickathon Curation Series.
I'm really excited,
I think
so
it's
thank you so much.
Super fun collaboration too. Working with Bamba, I think one of the interesting things for us when we were talking about you and their music is just that kind of roots cooking.
So it feels like it's sort of tied together. I'm excited to work with them.
I love that.
Well, we know you guys got service coming up. Obviously, the fried chicken is being breaded. It should be ready in, a couple minutes? So we can wait around for some fried chicken.
So hungry.
But thank you so much for sharing your space and your time.
Of course, my pleasure.
Like vultures from canyons filled with bones, horizons made from dust.
How's it going?
So good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you.
En busca de los bosques y ahí encontrarás. Échale ganas.
I was born in San Francisco, California in 1982. I was raised in Southern Oregon with a lot of visits down to California where the rest of my extended family lives, which is like Atwater, Houston, Modesto, Winton, that kind of area. Music is such a huge part of where I come from and part of my the traditions of being Mexican. So regardless if you played an instrument or not, it's the way that we commune together. It was it was musical. I was raised with a lot of mariachi music, a lot of rancheras, a lot of corridos, which a lot of that music. Again, I think this is where they weren't musicians, but you are music. Just because the stories of where I come from and where my ancestors come from are surrounded by music. So we feel like we're part of this musical composition. When you see those mariachi singers, they're just emoting in a way where it's normal. It's oh yeah, this is how you express yourself. You say it, you feel it. I'm grateful for that knowledge and that perspective because I think that's totally what brought me to that tool, that gift, the instrument. I just yeah, this is what you do. And also it was the most visceral thing. Couldn't deny then, I still can't deny that expression, because it was natural. The music for me, music has been so cathartic. I'm so grateful for that gift because it's allowed me to heal in this way and it's helped in other areas in my life, it's helping. It all helps each other. That's how I am progressing. Every moment's an opportunity to create space for what I'm saying, for people like me, to celebrate that vulnerability.
I belong to a cynical savior. My belly has been fed too much.
Well, we're thrilled you're going to be part of Pickathon. We just saw Maya over at May and talked a little bit about the food that she's thinking about for the event. It's going to be pretty awesome.
What kind of food is she making? Do you know?
She's gonna be doing a lot of stuff, pulling ingredients from here, but all influenced from her southern roots, because she's from South North Carolina.
Cool.
Which I think is a good tie with you, right? Because you've got a pretty embedded connection to where you come from and where your family's from?
It's hard to explain. I am so sensitive to the history of like where I come from. And the older I've been getting, the more I really like tap into that ancestral like memory, you know, and what we create comes from that ancestral memory. Not everyone is like aware of that, you know. It can be food, it's music, it's how we express ourselves, you know. And Maya knows that she's allowed herself to like, for that space to carve in her so she can share that. And myself is just like, you know, it's just something that wants to be seen, something that wants to be shared.
I think that's what we're hoping to accomplish with the series, is to have you with your stage and your band and the instruments and your voice, and then Maya with the food, and being able to create that space where everybody gets to, you have an audience who's literally hungry for that. So it'll be exciting to see. Exactly. It'll be exciting to see that all come together.
Yeah, and that's like a really, really important way to communicate and bring people together. That vulnerability should be celebrated. And that is a way, like Maya will be celebrating her vulnerability, I will be celebrating my vulnerability. And then we commune that way. That's so strong.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. I think
Cool.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks so much for having us. We'll see you soon.
It was awesome.
I can't wait. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck with the rest of it.
We'll see you in the woods.
If you guys don't get the Pickathon 2017 tattoos, you have not lived. Cheers,
Okay,
Pickathon
let's go
2017. Cheers. So we're here, day one, Curation Series. Maya Lovelace from May and Bamba. And we've started having some conversations, and this is going really well. And
Are there people who are going to bring us beverages in order to film this scene? That would be the most important question on hand. So let's start with the music first.
Okay.
How I like.
Well, Nick, you know what? I just want to know, that inspiration for your video Libre was, where the f did that come from? Because it was beautiful.
Last night while I was dreaming, I thought I fell asleep. But what was a dream? What was a dream? Where my traffic?
And I was like, I want to do a dance. I want to do a dance, and I feel like the body just needs to move, and let's not overthinking how it's going to move, and we're all going to get together, and these girls are all going to like either maybe never done this before, but they want to do it because we're all here together, that support that we're talking about, you know? You just kind of feel like, oh, okay, cool, they got my back.
I felt very comfortable.
Yeah.
Being there, just collaborating and like sharing space and like, yeah, having each other's backs.
Yeah, and we didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a choreographer, but I sure the f was that day, you know?
So Maya has an amazing pop-up called May. So can you talk a little bit about sort of that? It's like the unknown, right? I mean, a pop-up is it's a new model. It's a new way of thinking about feeding people.
Yeah, pop-ups kind of have like a little bit more freedom than just a traditional restaurant, because we can honestly do whatever the f we want, like anytime. We can kind of change concept in the middle of anything. We can kind of just sort of go with the flow, like you were just talking about. And even with all of our dinners that we do, when we have a plan, there are always things that are changing. So it's kind of like always just kind of riding that wave. And I think that that's probably true with musicians as well, with any sort of creative job, if I can say that. And my inspiration for the last few years at least has been my heritage. I've found a lot of inspiration and joy in sort of looking backward, especially at the women in my family, and kind of, I know this might sound a little interesting, but sort of trying to act as a medium for the experiences and the passions of my female ancestors in a way.
Yeah.
Like I like to look back through.
That is not weird at all.
I feel like
awesome.
you I felt like that was for life.
Honestly, when
Yes, please.
I feel like you guys have bonded
Please
for
do.
life.
Yeah. So basically, like,
Please keep doing that.
when I listen to your music, I feel like there's definitely like a sacred, powerful feminine energy.
Girl, you told me so. How God healed your heart. Your eyes are quite fine. My favorite design. Girl, please don't go.
Welcome to the Curation Series. I am Jason French. We've done this now. We're in our 3rd year. The chefs were given a series of limitations. The limitation is basically a one-bowl wonder to push them to push their craft and to give you guys a satisfactory meal amidst this amazing setting and with a wonderful experience with this band. So, Maya.
So can we have fun now? Because
It's not about fun, it's
Thursday
about
night.
music and
Let's kick out the jams and throw it up for Maya Lovelace and Bamba. It's happening at Pickathon right now. Let's do it. Maya, what are you cooking tonight?
Well, just a couple little snacks. I'm making some cheese straws, which are just like a little cracker that my grandma used to make, really simple. And then doing little lettuce wraps with like pimento cheese, bacon jam, cucumber, picnic food. And then for our bowl that we did, some pork that we smoked for several hours. And we did it sort of a hybrid style between Eastern North Carolina barbecue and cochinita pibil. And then cornbread.
Hungry. Nobody's excited and nobody's hungry.
Yeah.
The band is like this.
And then we made cornbread with like sweet corn and jalapeno, and we're doing like a little elote sauce drizzled over the top of it. A little salad of tomatoes and plums and feta and a bunch of herbs for a little light thing. I thought it would be fun.
It's gonna be an experience.
I want to say I saw Bamba 7 years ago. I felt very different about the music tonight, and I would love to know, 7 years is a long time, I know, but if you could talk a little bit about what we may have experienced then versus now.
I feel, I mean, if we were to sit down and have a conversation, getting to know each other, and I was like, hey, what's up? Like, this is what's going on with my life, what's going on with your life, da-da-da, this and that. You see each other just kind of grow in these certain areas, and if you're honest with yourself and you get to provide that with any person that you're, like, coming in contact with, you know, you get to really see that growth. And for me, like, for some reason, I've had the ability to just kind of, like, show that part of my growth through what I do with sound, and, like, it doesn't really completely define who I am. But I get to share it. I just share it, and that's my process. So basically, what you're experiencing, and the only way that I can articulate to myself is it's just been my process.
Maya, you having your pop-up too, like you've had the same process. Like, we're just doing things and we don't really think about it like, I'm gonna make space for myself to be this way or that way.
Yeah, totally.
It's just, I wanna create and I'm gonna do what I know I wanna do and find a way to make it work.
Yeah. I feel like in the amount of time that I've spent with you today, I don't think either of us are bound or tethered by any genre or idea or restaurant or shape of something. I feel like we're creating our own paths as they grow and change, like I said before. Like you grow to fill the shape that is provided. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It's amazing. Great.
Hug each other and just I feel like we just had like a moment.
Pickathon 2017.
Join us each month for new episodes of Curation.
The idea behind this is bringing together bands, bringing together chefs, and providing something for the people of Pickathon. Pickathon has an amazing amount of magic in it, and we wanted to add to that. We wanted to give something a little bit more focused and a little bit more special. It's a little bit more intimate.
By taking just one more chance.